Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are kicking off something brand new, a series we've been wanting to do for a while.
That's right.
Get ready, because this is Fix the Funnel with GAfix, and we are starting with episode 1, jumping right into a huge one, mastering the GA4 Attribution Lookback Window.
It's one of those settings that lives deep in the admin panel.
That's
right? But it dictates way more than people realize.
Oh, absolutely.
If you're running a serious marketing budget, this one little configuration is responsible for crediting or, stripping credit for millions of dollars in revenue.
And we're jumping straight into the stakes here. The source material we looked at had this story about a performance marketer who saw something alarming.
Yeah, that was a wild one.
A sudden, totally inexplicable 20% drop in revenue that was credited to their content and SEO teams in their GA4 reports.
We're talking, what, $50,000 in monthly sales?
50 grand a month. It just vanished from their attribution data.
And what makes that story so powerful is that, all the external indicators looks fine. Traffic was healthy. Facebook, Google ads, they all reported their usual conversion numbers.
Right.
But when they looked at the holistic view in GA4, the credit for all that initial research, all that content-driven activity, it was gone. It's the ultimate data headache.
If you've ever had a top-of-funnel team suddenly look, ineffective in the reports, you know that pain. So our mission today is to pull apart the technical cause of that revenue vanishing act and, crucially, make sure you have the blueprint to configure your GA4 so it accurately sees every single valuable touch point.
From the very first click all the way to the final conversion.
Exactly. So let's start with the culprit.
Okay.
Because the sources we reviewed, they pinpointed the failure immediately. The GA4 AI model was literally unable to credit any marketing activity that happened more than 30 days before a sale.
The AI just couldn't remember that initial step. Its memory was too short.
30 days. That feels incredibly short, especially for like B2B or e-commerce where you have complex products. Those cycles can run 60, 90, even 180 days.
For sure.
So what on earth drove the marketing team in that story to restrict GA4's memory so drastically?
Well, the sources confirmed they were trying to match their GA4 settings to what they were seeing in a specific, much narrower ad platform report.
So they thought consistency across platforms was the goal.
They mistakenly believed that, that homogeneity was the most important thing.
And the moment they forced that narrow window, they basically neutered their own intelligence.
That's a good way to put it, because when they cut that memory down to 30 days, the DDA, that's the data-driven attribution model, GA4's machine learning engine, it pruned off all those older interactions.
They chopped them right off.
That's the critical mechanism of failure. If the DDA model can't see the full path, if it can't see that initial research touch point from, say, day 45, it has no choice.
It has to give the credit to something else.
It has to attribute the conversion to the next closest interaction it can see.
Yeah.
And this results in, over-crediting all those late-stage transactional clicks.
And that's what made those key early-stage channels, the SEO and content teams, look, what was the quote?
Completely worthless.
Wow. Okay, so we need to slow down here and define this central concept. If we're talking about GA4's ability to remember, we are talking about the lookback window.
Absolutely. The best way to think of the lookback window is like your GA4's institutional memory bank.
I like that. A memory bank.
Its function is simple, but it's foundational. It just sets the time frame during which a customer's click or visit is eligible to receive credit for a conversion later on.
And if the interaction falls outside that window?
It's gone. GA4 deletes it from the attribution path. It never happened as far as the model is concerned.
So let's visualize this. Say a customer starts researching on January 15th. They read a really specific blog post your content team wrote. They eventually buy on March 1st. So that's, 45 days later?
Right.
If the memory bank is only 30 days, that first blog post interaction, it just disappears.
It's completely gone. And the credit then probably flows to, like, the retargeting ad they clicked on February 25th.
Ignoring the spark that started the whole journey.
That is the painful consequence.
Yeah.
You're actively degrading the visibility of your high funnel investments. And this leads to a key clarification.
Which is?
GA4 doesn't really simplify this for us. It actually gives us two lookback windows that govern attribution, and they do different things.
Okay, so knowing the difference between the two is vital before anyone rushes into their admin panel.
You could be adjusting the wrong setting entirely. So the first one is the acquisition conversion window. This one defaults to 30 days.
And its specific mandate, what's its job?
Its purpose is very, very narrow. It decides which marketing source gets credit for bringing a customer to your site for the very first time.
The introducer.
The introducer, yes, exactly. That initial handshake that opens the whole relationship.
Okay, that makes sense for a first-time user. It's about how they first found you. So what about the second, and I'm guessing more powerful window?
The second one, and this is the one that caused that $50,000 panic in our opening story, is the other conversion events window.
And this one defaults to
90 days.
90. Okay, so why is this 90-day window so much more important for seeing the whole funnel?
Because this setting governs all the other sales and lead conversions that happen after that initial acquisition.
Ah, so everything else?
Everything else. The sources are really clear on this. This 90-day setting is the most crucial one for training and running your data-driven attribution model. If you shorten this, you are crippling your DDA's ability to work properly.
So we've got a 30-day default for the first touch, the acquisition one, and a 90-day default for everything else. Should listeners try to match them? Or is that 90-day default the one we should protect at all costs?
The source material is, it's unequivocal. For the other conversion events window, the recommendation is to almost always stick with the 90-day default.
Almost always.
That 90-day period is the bedrock for accurate reporting.
But let me play devil's advocate here for a second. I know someone listening is thinking, my average conversion time is 45 days. Why do I need 90? Won't that just add, unnecessary noise and complexity for the AI?
That is a great question, and it really gets to a misunderstanding of how DDA actually works. We aren't just trying to cover the average journey.
You're trying to cover the outliers, too.
The outliers and the true complexity of the relationship. There are 3 really powerful reasons detailed in the sources for keeping that 90-day setting.
Okay, let's break them down. Let's start with the technical side, the AI.
Reason number 1 is all about feeding the AI. The DDA model isn't just looking for the last click, It's using machine learning to look across these messy, complex customer journeys to figure out the probability of conversion based on patterns. It needs depth. The full 3 months gives the AI the data volume to correctly spot the true value of every single click, every video view, every high funnel thing, even if that one interaction wasn't strictly necessary for every conversion.
So you need that rich data set to avoid bias.
Exactly. Shortening it creates a shallow data pool, and that leads to unreliable probability weights. You're starving the AI.
Starving the AI doesn't just make it less accurate. It sounds like it makes it less intelligent about the connection between top-of-funnel exposure and bottom-of-funnel action.
It's exactly. Which leads to reason number 2, which is about credit where it's due. The longer window prevents GA4 from just arbitrarily forgetting valuable touch points in the middle of the funnel.
Right.
If your window is 30 days, that critical white paper download or that brand search that happened on day 35 just vanishes.
Yeah.
The credit then unfairly flows to the final high-intent action, like the buy now click.
Making those valuable mid-funnel investments look completely invisible.
Invisible. And the third reason, this one hits the budget. It's stop sabotaging your data. If you shorten the window, you proactively deny your high-funnel teams, your content, SEO, brand awareness folks, the credit they deserve in the tool that determines budget.
So the business looks at incomplete data, sees a poor ROI for these crucial activities, and then makes the fatal mistake of pausing effective campaigns.
Yes, you're throttling your own growth pipeline. It's
Yeah.
a classic case of flawed metrics driving a flawed strategy. You are literally censoring the data that proves your awareness work is paying off.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy of underperformance for early-stage marketing.
You got it.
Okay, so if 90 days is the standard, is there any legitimate reason to shorten the other conversion events window?
There's only one, and it has to be backed up by hard data. If your sales cycle is definitively, comprehensively proven to be shorter than 30 days.
And that's across all product lines and customer segments.
All of them. And even then, the risk of undercrediting that high funnel activity, it often outweighs the benefit of a shorter window. The bias should always be towards more data for the DDA.
This brings us back to what that team in the story was trying to do. Match their GA4 reports to their ad platform reports. Like Google Ads or Facebook often report on a 7-day or 30-day click basis. Should we try to harmonize everything?
No. The sources are super clear on this. You should not force GA4 to match the limited view of an individual ad platform.
Why not?
Well, think about it. Ad platforms are designed to report only on the spend they're responsible for, right? So they use narrow look-back periods. But GA4's job is different. Its job is to give you the comprehensive truth of the whole customer journey.
The big picture.
The big picture. And that requires the full 90-day memory bank to feed the AI accurately.
That's a huge distinction. We need to trust GA4 to be the unbiased, holistic source of truth, even if the numbers don't perfectly line up with those siloed ad platform reports.
Exactly.
Okay, let's get to the actionable steps. If I'm listening right now and I need to check my configuration, how do I do that audit?
The audit check is very straightforward. You log into GA4, you go to the admin section in the bottom left, then you open up attribution settings.
And you're looking for...
You're looking for the other conversion events window. Just review that setting.
And the mandate, based on our analysis, is crystal clear. Leave that setting at the 90-day default. That is your safeguard against blinding your own attribution system.
Absolutely. But now let's apply a really critical pro tip from the sources that deals with customizing the other window.
The acquisition conversion window, the one that defaults to 30 days.
That's the one. The credit for the first touch.
So if we shouldn't rely on the default for that one, how do we personalize it?
You use your own data. The pro tip says to open GA4's Path Exploration Report.
And what are we looking for in that report?
You are calculating your actual introductory funnel length. You're
Yeah.
checking to see how many days users typically take to convert after their very first touch point with you. This report gives you the cold, hard reality of your user journey.
So instead of just accepting Google's kind of arbitrary 30-day default for acquisition, we can set a custom window, say 52 days, if that's what our data shows is the typical time for a user's first conversion.
That's it. It seems like a much smarter way to do it.
It customizes your first touch credit based on observed behavior, not on a generic setting that might be totally irrelevant to your business.
And it ensures you credit the introducer accurately, no matter how long that prospect takes to come back and finally convert.
This whole deep dive really boils down to one simple yet, it
Okay.
seems, often sabotaged setting.
It does. The single most common mistake that causes all this attribution chaos and damages reporting for top-of-funnel teams is manually shortening GA4's memory bank.
That 90-day other conversion events window.
That's the one. The second you do that, you are immediately restricting the DDA model and ensuring all your crucial early-stage marketing gets no credit.
So you now know the risks, you know the required 90-day defense, and you know how to use the path exploration tool to find your true customer journey length. So our final thought for you to chew on is this. If you haven't looked at your path exploration report recently, what kind of time lapse do you expect to find between that first touch and the conversion?
And more importantly, how much longer do you think the actual data will prove that journey to be?
Because that gap, the one between your expectation and reality, that's the first place you need to look to really start optimizing your funnel.
Go check those windows. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.